All right, let's just dive right in because today we're tackling a topic that might sound a little out there, maybe even a bit strange, but trust me, it's absolutely fascinating. We're talking about the philosophy of money abundance, and we're going to explore a really radical way of thinking about wealth that has nothing to do with saving and hoarding, and, well, everything to do with letting go. But first, let's start with a question I think we can all relate to. Why is our relationship with money so incredibly stressful? I mean, for most of us, the story we're told from day one is you gotta work hard, save every penny, and live in fear of the day it all runs out. It creates this constant low-level hum of anxiety in the background. But what if that anxiety isn't actually coming from our bank account at all? Well, the source we're digging into today has a name for this. It calls it the conventional money trap. This is the cycle of just working your tail off, not for joy or for passion, but from this deep-seated fear of not having enough. The source even calls it donkey's labor. You know, that relentless head-down grind that's fueled entirely by a feeling of scarcity. And here we get to the absolute heart of the matter. The argument is that the problem isn't the number you see when you log into your bank account. Nope. The problem is internal. It's the belief system you have, that scarcity mindset that screams at you that money is this limited thing you have to cling to, protect, and hoard for dear life. It's a way of life built completely on fear. So if that's the trap, how do you get out? This is where the whole paradigm shifts. The source introduces this really powerful idea, the difference between being rich and being abundant. Now, they might sound like the same thing, but in this philosophy, they are worlds apart. Looking at this just reframes everything, doesn't it? Being rich is about having a static pile of money. It's a finite number, which means it can be lost. And that, right there, is what creates the fear. But being abundant, that's about being part of a continuous flow. It's not a pile, it's a current. And here's the crucial point the source makes. A rich person can become poor, but a person living in abundance, they can't, because they are always tapped into that circulation. So this is the definition that changes the game. Abundance is a state of being. It's where you treat money like a form of energy. I mean, just think about the word currency itself. It literally has the word current inside it. And just like electricity or a river, it needs to move to have any power. If you let it stagnate, it just loses all its vitality. This one idea is the bedrock for the two main principles for how you get them. And that brings us to our first principle, the law of flow. If money is a current, then it follows that to receive it, you first have to be willing to let it go. Trying to hoard money out of fear is like building a dam on a river. You end up stopping the very energy you're trying to attract. The source argues that real abundance comes from letting money flow through you, not just to you. There's this incredible story in the source material that just perfectly captures this idea. The narrator sees a woman pay a tiny 200 rupee bill with a 2,000 rupee tip, a 10 times tip. It's shocking, right? But the lesson wasn't about being wasteful. It was about the mindset. That single act demonstrated a complete and total trust in the flow, a deep belief that what you give out will always find its way back. It's like you're signaling to the universe that you're a channel for abundance, not a dead end. All right, if you thought that was different, get ready for the second principle because it's even more unconventional. It's the law of energy. This idea suggests that money itself, and even the tools you use to earn it, like your laptop or your car, has an energy field. And to attract more wealth, you have to stop treating money like a dead object and start treating it like a respected, valued guest in your life. Now, I know that sounds pretty weird. Talk to my money? But think about it like this. The source uses this great analogy of how a little kid can take a simple plastic toy and, with their love and imagination, bring it to life, turning it into this cherished friend. The advice here is to do the same thing with our financial tools. Our bank cards, our cash, our phone. Thank them. By doing that, you're not pretending they're alive. You're transforming your own relationship with them from one based on fear and anxiety to one based on partnership and gratitude. So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, the source gets really specific with some, let's call them, unconventional actions. Yeah, you can literally talk to your currency. But it's also about things like healing your root chakra, which in yogic tradition is the energy center tied to our sense of security and fear. It's about consciously thanking the tools of your trade, your phone, your car, your home. It's about practicing gratitude every single day for what you already have and freely giving your time or knowledge. All of these things reinforce those two core principles of flow and positive energy. Okay, I get it. This all sounds like a pretty major shift in thinking. So the big question is, where on earth do you even start? The great news is this whole journey begins inside you. It starts with a few simple, clear steps you can take, like right now. This isn't about some grand plan to make more money tomorrow. It's about changing how you relate to it today.
So, step one, just take an honest look at your own beliefs. What's the story you've been telling yourself about money your whole life? Is it a story about struggle? About how it's hard to come by? Step two, shift your inner voice from I desire this to I am worthy of this. The source really highlights this. Desire comes from a place of lack, but deserving comes from a place of worthiness. And finally, step three, just start the flow. Give something away freely with no strings attached. It doesn't have to be money. Give your time, give some advice, give a genuine smile. The key is to give without expecting a single thing in return.
So we'll end on this one last thought to really let sink in. Almost everything in our culture teaches us that financial security comes from getting more, accumulating it, and holding on with a death grip. But this whole philosophy turns that on its head and asks a really provocative question. What if the real secret to getting more isn't about holding on tighter, but about having the courage to finally learn how to let go?